Hello friends, and welcome to The Hanged Man and the Moon. Friends, I haven't done a walkthrough in quite a while, and I've got a really interesting one all lined up for you. One of you beautiful, beautiful people who watch this channel asked me to do a walkthrough of the Ritual Tarot. Now, I recently got in the new marked version of the Ritual Tarot, so what I'm going to do is a side-by-side of those two decks, the original version and the version that has the name very, very discreetly written on the back of the cards. So, we'll see if there are any differences. I think that there probably are no differences, but if you want to check it out with me, stay tuned. We'll turn the camera down and we'll look at the Ritual Tarot together. Here we go. Friends, you are here on the inaugural flight of this new setup for me. I don't know what it's going to come out as, but here we go. You are the victims of my experimentation, just so you let you know. I was asked to do a walkthrough of the Ritual Tarot by one of you beautiful people. And so here I am, trying out my new setup with these two beautiful decks. Now, I've had them both, well, I've had this one here, the original version, with me for a month, or a few months actually. The one on the left, it should be on your left as well, I got recently, and it's a new iteration of the Ritual Tarot. They're both, the art is basically the same. I think it's actually exactly the same. So you might be asking, why am I doing a side-by-side walkthrough? Well, one of them, this is a new edition, and it has markings on the back so that we can tell which card it is. And those markings, I'll show you, are they're inconspicuous enough so that they're easy to pass over when you're shuffling them, because they are on the backs, but they don't jump out at you, and you'll see in a moment what I mean by that. Can you tell that there's a little difference in the coloration for the boxes? The size of the box is a little bit different as well. Now, this new deck has a guidebook inside of the box. This one does not. Let me show you the guidebook that I have here. Now, like I said, this is a new setup. I'm not exactly happy with the new setup, but the guidebook is this. It's large, which is wonderful, but it doesn't fit with the deck, which is a little less than wonderful, but it's very nice. Yeah. Inside of the guidebook, it's in color. At least part of it is in color. We start off with information about the Ritual Tarot. And you can see that for each card, we have a full color image, which is wonderful for the original deck because it's really hard to tell until you're really used to the deck which card is which after you've shuffled them. Yeah, so this is the Fool. And so you get a full page color version of the image and then a write-up, which includes, let me show you from the top, some keywords, a nice quote, a description of what we're seeing. The center of the card features the floating head of Dionysus, or to the Romans Bacchus, or Liber, the god of grape harvest, drunkenness, ecstasy, and ritual madness. In Latin, Liber simply translates to free. Yeah, we have opposing cards here. For example, an opposing card would be the Hierophant, or the Death card, or the Devil. Yeah, reinforcing cards, the Hanged One, one of my favorite cards in every deck, Star, Judgment, Three of Wands. So there's a lot of good information here for all of the major arcana. And then when we get into the minor arcana, let me get down to the minor arcana, where we are. There we are. So we've got instead of a full page for each card, we've got color images for the ace to the nines, and then keywords on the left. So for example, the Ace of Wands gives us creative force, passion, courage, invention, inspiration, enthusiasm, enterprise, opportunity, potential, vision. And then reversed, ruin, perdition, lack of direction, hesitancy, creative blocks, delays. So fairly trimmed down, but good information. Then we've got the 10 of Cups, Princess of Cups, Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, and King of Cups. Wonderfully done, beautifully done. And we'll be looking at the cards in just a moment. Now, for the swords, we've got all of the pictures together and then the descriptions on the back. Yeah, so it's not absolutely consistent, but so, like I said, we've got one page here of ace to 9. On the back of the page, we have 10 to the king. Then we turn the page, we have 2 pages. On one side, ace to 9, on the other side, 10 to king. You get it, right? We've got down here element of fire. This is for the suit of swords, which is interesting. For me, the swords is, oh, I'm sorry, what am I saying? Fire. Element air. Boy, I don't know where that came from. Element air, season fall, astrological signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, moon phase, full moon. And then we've got the glyphs for the zodiacal signs down there at the bottom. It's a great, simple guidebook. Here is the creator, Tiera May. Thank you very much, Tiera May, for your work. You've created some beautiful stuff, and I'm very grateful for you. She's a visual artist and a musician from Northern California, where I call my second hometown. She currently resides in Spokane, Washington, where I don't consider my hometown. I lived in Topeka, Washington for about a year when I was like 5 years old. But let's see. May is a Cancer sun, Virgo moon. So she gives her astrological information down here too. She's her sun sign is Cancer, her moon is Virgo, and her ascending or rising is Sagittarius. So, interesting, very interesting. So she's got water, earth, and fire in her top 3 zodiacal signs. Yeah, that is, let's see. Cancer is cardinal water. Virgo is mutable earth, and Sagittarius is mutable fire. So she's got a lot of mutable stuff in her chart. Interesting. Nice balance. Okay, moving right along. 2. Yes, the ritual tarots. Now, this one came in this lovely pouch. Came with this lovely pouch, and I will set this lovely velour pouch aside. It's nicely done, just so you know. I like it a lot. So again, the deck on the left is the original edition. The deck on the right is the original edition. The deck on the left is the new revised with the titles on the backs. Let me open up the box. The boxes are wonderful, 2-part boxes. Easy to open, even though they don't have thumb cutouts on them. Inside of the box, nice for the original, and the inside of the box top for the second edition is a little bit simplified, right? Which is fine. Yeah, box tops don't make the deck. Now, here's the guidebook for the new edition. For this guidebook, we have, again, a full-paged image of the card. We have cards that intensify the card and cards that counter the card here, instead of what was it called in the big guidebook? It was called opposing cards and reinforcing cards, but basically the same idea, right? Instead of opposing and reinforcing, we have intensifying cards and countering cards. We have the keywords here. We've got a quote. We've got a description of the card itself for the major arcana. Lovely, lovely little guidebook. And then for the minors, because we have the titles on the cards, we don't really need to have the images here. We have the same information, but we just don't have the thumbnail images of the cards. So nice little guidebook. And I will take the decks out of the box. You can tell right off that the backs of the cards are very different. I love this back. I love this image of what looks to me like a bodhisattva. And we have here what looks like a zodiacal chart, right? So this is what the backs of the new edition will look like. This is what the backs of the original edition look like. And we're pulling out the boxes entirely now. Let's see, what do I have here? So, that's the title card. And let's see, here is the title card for the old deck. We've seen the backs already. The cardstock for both editions is very similar. It's glossy and slippy, and it's thick enough that it's sturdy. Now there's a lot of flex to both of these. Actually, I'm sorry. The new deck is a little bit thicker. It has a little bit more core to it, I think, than the original deck. So the newer deck will probably be a little bit more difficult to shuffle at first, but I don't think it's going to be a huge challenge. We'll see. Sizes are exactly the same. Yeah? And even though the new deck feels like it has a stiffer core, the actual thickness of the cards is not much different. I mean, they stack up pretty much exactly the same. So let me try and get these slippy cards to look nice on camera for you. And let's move on to the first image. So, hi. Just a second. I thought these were in the same order. What's going on here? Okay, so this is the... okay, so there's an extra card here. Like I haven't looked at this deck yet, and so we're looking at these decks together. This is the Fool's Journey card. How do I know? So this is the way that the new deck has solved the problem of people not knowing what card they're looking at. Yeah, if you look at the chart here, which starts, where's Aries? There's Leo. There's Aries. So Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. It goes all the way around, right? And then right here, I don't know if you can see it well enough, it says The Fool's Journey. Now, I don't have the strongest eyes in the universe, and yet I can read this very easily without any assistance from camera or glasses or anything. I don't wear glasses normally. I don't have glasses, but my age is getting up there, and so there's some small print that's difficult for me to see, and yet I can read this very easily. Okay, so this is how I knew that this was the Fool's Journey, the additional card, because I can read it there. And it's a card that I was a little bit surprised by, because I thought, is this the World? What's going on here? No, it looks like Judgment. It looks like the Lovers. It looks like maybe even Death. So I'm going to set this aside, and I might bring it in a couple of times, because what I think we might be looking at is elements from many, if not all, of the major arcana might be included here in one card. That's my guess. We'll see if I'm guessing correctly. So I'll set this aside. I'm sorry you won't be able to... Well, it's right there. You'll be able to see it there. So here we go. This is the Fool. Now, just to show you, the Fool's Journey was listed there. Now, the Fool on the Fool card in the new deck is listed here in the same spot. But I'll show you a couple of more cards. The placement of the title is going to be different on the cards. I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. Let me put this back off to the side, and here we go. The Fool. Now, frankly, I'm not a great fan of collage. So you may be asking, well, then why the heck do you have this deck? Well, I have this deck because I saw other people using the deck, looking at the deck, walking through the deck, and I fell in love with this. Now, there are other collage decks which are collage, but they try to hide the fact that they're collage, or and it just rings false to me. It looks fake. Now this, there's no hiding. We know it's collage. It's very, what do we call it? It's analog collage. It's stuff actually pasted on other stuff, right? And because of that, because it's not trying to hide the fact that it's collage in any way, um, I like that. I like this pretty well. And what do we have here? We have the head of Bacchus, is what they said, right? For the Fool. We've got the butterflies, which we expect for the Fool. We got the figure with the dog here. Very, very foolish card. This being here on the side is very interesting, right? Instead of a head, we've got a flower for a head. Now remember, the Fool often is sniffing a flower. These little fairies down here in the woods that are a wonderful addition. Let's look at the description in the book as we look at this card so we get a sense of what it is we're looking at. I'm not going to do that for all cards or even many of the cards, but let me read the book. The center of the card features the floating head of Dionysus, or to the Romans Bacchus, or Liber, which I mentioned before. The seeker cannot look the Fool directly in the eye because his intoxicated stare is multidirectional and delirious. The Fool's head is suspended solely by a train of butterflies. Okay, so that's what's going on here. The Fool's head is suspended by this train of butterflies, emphasizing his tendency towards daydreaming and his detachment to reality. A satyr, archetypal companion of Dionysus with a proclivity for Dionysian carousing, plays a pan flute for, here we go, the satyr, plays a pan flute for the two jesters to the left and the right of him. These are two jesters. Jesters, the court fools, right? The full court fools. There we go, the Fool card. There is an air of playfulness, curiosity, and naivete. The Fool card is also associated with the spring equinox and the element air. Reverse meanings could signify, okay, so we don't have any information about the fairies down here, but yeah, spring equinox fairies, that kind of rings true. I mean, it has good echoes, right? This looks like a very in the springtime forest to me, feeling. Interesting. Okay, so we don't get every detail, but we do get a lot of detail and help with the cards, which I think is important for a deck that is so interestingly and challengingly collaged. Challenge in a good way. Yeah, it's going to ask us to really look at to see deeply into what we're looking at. Okay, so this is the magician, right? We got the hand up there with this rainbow coming through the hand, perhaps showing will. We got the hand is holding the universe, the sky in his, her, their hand, right? We don't get the four elements so clearly, like a sword and a cup and a wand and a sword, or do we? The different eye is very interesting here, right? Okay, so let me show you where the magician's title lies in the back of this one. So here's the magician. Here's where the Fool was. Now the Fool was written here. The magician is written here. I wonder, let me just double check. Is there a zodiacal reason for that? The magician is associated with what? Let me look at the bigger book. The magician is associated with let's see. The card is about taking action and doing what needs to be done. Okay, so I don't find the direct association in the guidebook. Hmm. Could probably be Mercury. Let's see. Golden orb. The card features the magician with a concentrated gaze, his sights focused on producing magical results. A rainbow emanates from his third eye, symbolizing his determination, singleness of purpose, and full understanding of the conscious and unconscious planes. A golden orb levitates around his mouth, okay, emphasizing the universal principle of communication, which would be a kind of Mercury in Gemini association, but we don't have that. Also referred to as Magus Mercurius. The magician is ruled by the planet Mercury. Well, there it is. Okay, so let's see. Do we have the high priestess associated with the moon, perhaps? Let's see. In the book, it looks like the high priestess, which we will get to in just a moment, emphasize both Isis, Demeter, Persephone. The priestess is adorned with crowns of horns, framing the full moon, her guiding planet. Yes. So if you look at the text for the cards, I should have been showing you this for that long period of time. So, yes, this is Mercury. Oh, sorry, not him, not him, him. He is Mercury. So we do, in the book, we do have the association, and the planetary association is revealed in the cards in a way. This was that disc I was talking about. This is the rainbow coming out of his third eye, piercing what it looks like his hand. Um, okay, so moving on to the High Priestess. Lovely card, beautiful card. Uh, we've got a flower in a triangle above her head. We've got a snake, double-headed snake. Snake coming up to her mouth again. We've got a camel. Reminded me a little bit of the Thoth card deck. Just saying. Um, Interesting. You've got a cougar on top of one pillar. What is that on top of the other? It looks to me like it could be a seal, like kind of seal, but maybe not. I don't want to go back to the book every time. I'm just pointing out stuff that jumps out at me. And then here we have, yes, the Empress, Mother Mary as the Empress. Beautiful. Now, this would be Venus, and I'm not sure where the Venetian elements are here. Now, when I say this is Venus, I mean in the Golden Dawn tradition, which I believe this deck is following, this card would be Venus. Now, we've got the bee here, which is often on the clothes of the Empress. We've got a unicorn, which is interesting. We've got another bee image down here at the bottom. We don't have the shield with the eagle on it here. Um, but we do have a lot of fertility. We've got a lot of natural growth in very diverse ways, right? We've got forests, we've got a mountain lake here, we've got fields of other kinds of plants, we've got other kinds of flowers all around the Empress. We've got corrugated cardboard, okay. But yeah, interesting. Okay, so, and here we go with the Emperor. Now, the Emperor, Ram, makes absolute sense for both of these. And you will also see the Emperor here, a ram-headed Emperor seated in a throne-like chair. We've got another ancient-looking ram here on the side. More ram's heads up here. Going way in, going very hard into the ram images, right? A lot of very old looking. I'm not sure how old, whether they would qualify as ancient looking statuary, and looks like reliefs here. I'm not sure if they're statues or not, but here on the sides. Do you see those? I'm sure you do. And let me show you where the Emperor's title is on this card. It's right over here. Now, the Empress, which I did not show you, is over here. The Emperor is over here. More interesting balance. I wonder if that was chosen. Well, let me show you. Yeah, Emperor, Empress, Emperor, Empress. I wonder if that was chosen with purpose, if that makes sense. Let's go into the Hierophant. Now, Hierophant is often considered this card for Taurus for many of the Golden Dawn followers. I'm just saying, I get the Golden Dawn, but I personally prefer the pre-Golden Dawn zodiacal associations from Eliphas Levi, for example. But I get the Golden Dawn traditions, and I'm learning to incorporate the Golden Dawn system as well as the continental system that I've learned. But here we go. The Tauran. We got the very large and very high-looking third eye on the Hierophant. And we've got, this looks like a horned dragon to me rather than a Tauran bull, but we've got more horned beasts up at the top. We've got horns on the head of the Hierophant himself. The sun is going away, but it still looks like you can see what we're looking at. Yeah, it looks like this camera is new. And it looks like my battery is already running out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop for just a moment and see if I can do something about this battery. Here we go. I'll be back in just a moment. I now have my camera plugged in for power. So we're good to go. And let me get these back into frame a little bit better. Okay, so here we go. That was what was it? The Hierophant. Yes. Okay, and I can tell because if I look at this card, it says right there, the Hierophant. And we're moving on to the Lovers. Okay, so I haven't been good about checking back with this card here, have I? But yeah, these are not the same figure. These are not the same figures as the Lovers card, and I don't really think that this is the same as anything on. I don't see anything from the Hierophant here particularly. So these might just be brand new images. So I'm going to set this aside right now. Setting it aside. Okay, here we go. So, Lovers, we got the two figures here. We've got a woman at the top, which can remind us a little bit of the angel that might be there. We've got an apricot down here, which is a symbol, I believe, for the fruit of the Garden of Eden. One of the possibilities besides an apple could be an apricot. We've got interesting, beautiful figures at the top. Might be Eve and Lilith. I don't know. Now, but we've definitely got what looks like apple trees to me in the background, but we got an apricot at the bottom. So coming to the next card, which would be the Chariot. And here we've got Cancer very clearly pointed out with the crab at the top. We got the one Sphinx instead of two pulling what would have been pulling the cart. Beautiful colors here. Look like mandalas to me, but they might be something. No, they're not mandalas. Think of them as the wheels of the chariot itself, perhaps. Very interesting. This looks like Scorpio. This looks like a zodiacal chart with a crab, Cancer crab, just smashed on top of it. I'm sorry, that sounded a little derogatory. Placed deliberately right there on top of it. Okay, moving on to the next card, which would be what's after the Chariot is the 7, 8 is. So 8 for this deck would be Strength, right? Not Justice, it should be Strength. Let me just double check on the new card, and it is right there, Strength. Can you see that? There we go, Strength. Just in case you were curious, the title for the Chariot was over here on the previous card. So as you shuffle, you don't really know where to look until you've selected a card and really looked at the back and where is the title? Oh, there it is. You see what I mean? It should not affect us when we're shuffling. I don't think it would not affect me while I'm shuffling at all. So here we have strength. We've got a woman with what looks like a very odd baby dragon in her arms, perhaps. Two eyes, very oddly placed. Uh, we've got a very interesting drinking vessel here on the side, which is being filled from a stream or a waterfall coming down. Um, very interesting. Very interesting. We've got what looks like pomegranate seeds to me, which I would think of as associated with Persephone, and that might have been more of an empress or even a. We usually see pomegranates in the high priestess card, right? Um, hmm. Okay. Do you want me to look at the book quickly? Let me look at the book quickly for the strength card. Let's see what we have about the pomegranates. Power of compassion, strength is depicted, alluring woman adorned with a crown of deer antlers and flowers. The deer is a symbol of piety, gentleness, and grace. She holds a white ermine. Oh, that's an ermine, a symbol of her purity and virtue. Did not know that was an ermine. Her third eye suggests surrendering to divine knowledge. The ladybugs are, oh, those are ladybugs. I'm sorry, they're not pomegranate seeds, they're ladybugs. So, why do we have ladybugs there? I just closed the book. Let me find it again. The ladybugs, uh, let's see, the ladybugs are associated with the Norse goddess of love and magic, Freyja, as well as the Virgin Mary, the Christian equivalent of Freyja. The name Freyja translates to lady in Old Norse. In the Middle Ages, farmers would pray to the Virgin Mary or to the Lady of Seven Sorrows and believed that she sent ladybugs to protect their crops. So, that's interesting. Uh, Inner strengths, looking at the keywords, soft control, compassion, acceptance, acquiescence, patience, courage, gentle influence, and subtlety. So ladybugs for protecting crops, for all of that. Interesting. Okay, so see, I would need to really study this deck, I believe. But it's very studyable. I mean, there are reasons for the selections of stuff. This is card 10, right? So this should be for. No, this is the Hermit. I'm sorry, what am I saying? This is the Hermit. This is card 9. Let me make sure that I'm right. Where are you? Ah, okay. So I'm wrong again. So this is not the Hermit. This is not the World. This is the Lust card. So if you want to change this into a Thoth deck, I suppose we could pull out that Strength card and use this Lust card instead. And we've got this would be the Woman of Babylon. We've got the nine-headed beasts here. It should be 9. We've got the Grail. You know, I might just do that. I might just pull out that Strength card and use this with in my Thoth deep dive year. That's possible. Okay, so I might be using this more. I might be using this sooner than I had anticipated. This is the Hermit's brain, very on display. Third eye right there in the center of his head. We've got planets here. I think I know when I'm going to use this deck. Okay, so planets here, beautiful. We've got the mountain in the background. You can see that, right? So the art for both of these decks is exactly the same. So I could probably just stop right now and focus in on just one of the two decks, but I'm not. I'm just going to keep going as it is. Here's the wheel card, the Wheel of Fortune. We've got a wheel there at the center. We've got a figure here at the top. We've got a beast down here at the bottom. We've got images of, this looks like the Oracle of Delphi to me, but I'm probably wrong. Interesting. We've got Buddha hands here, which gives us the idea of the Wheel of Dharma, I guess, as well. Okay, moving on to the Judgment card, which would be here. I'm sorry, no, this would be the, yeah, Judgment card. Justice, I'm sorry, Judgment. What am I saying? Justice. This is the Justice card. And here we've got this is surely the head of John the Baptist. Um, Maybe not, but probably. We've got a nice headless angel there in the background, which is interesting. Um, these look like butterfly or moth wings with that are give us the impression of eyes here on both sides of the lady holding the head. We've got a wonderful astro. Is that called an astroblade or an astro something? It's called an astro something. I've forgotten. The art in the background is gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so that's justice. And here we have the hanged man, the hanged one in the book. Beautiful. Upside down figure, head, new eye added to the head. So one eye is open, one eye is closed. We've got Saint Sebastian here on the side, giving the idea of martyrdom as well as I don't know if any of you know this, but of the saints that have been claimed by the queer community, of which I am a member, Saint Sebastian is one of our besties. In addition to Sergio and Bacchus, Saint Sebastian has been claimed by particularly gay men, I believe, but perhaps even the larger queer community. Beautiful, beautiful image. I love the what looks like a crown at the foot of the head of the hanged one. We got a city out there in the background. Very interesting. The maps. So much to look at in these cards. Here's Death, card 13. Lovely. Now, something that just came to my mind when we think of the Thoth system, and yes, I call it a system, justice is called adjustment. And part of the idea of the adjustment card is the balance, not entirely only about the balance of the scales, but also the balance of the holder of the scales. Now that the person holding the scales or the figure holding the scales is also very precariously but finely balanced. Yeah, so it's not only the balancing of the observed world, but also the balance of the observer, the one who is my microphone just dropped, and I don't know if that is meaningful to the sound or not, actually. But let me put my microphone back in place. But do you understand what I'm saying? I don't really get that so much here, but like I said, these cards really do call for depth of, they call for time, right? So this is the death card. Yeah, skull. We've got the circles of life, cycles of life. The skull figure is holding another skull there in the hand. We've got what looks like a very icy, snowy background scene for the card as well. The death of winter, perhaps. And here we have temperance. Now, instead of the two chalices and water flowing between them, this figure is holding what looks like the Holy Spirit, but the Holy Spirit or the dove has, instead of a head, we've got a heart. Yeah? We see this beautiful gold burst of fiery color behind the angel, who has a crown floating up in the air. We got an eye above the angel, beautiful. We have the idea of water here, icy water and maybe warmer water. This looks like very icy, an icy side and maybe a warmer side. Maybe. Horse in the field, interesting. Yeah, the guidebook, I think, really is going to be important even when we have the names of the cards here on the bottom, because to really see to get an idea or help with what we're looking at, using the guidebook is going to be very helpful. There we have temperance right there. Okay, So we move on from temperance to what would this be? This would be, what is after temperance? Is of course the devil. Yeah, the devil made me do it. So we have the horned figure here. We have perhaps I don't see a male figure so much, but we do have figures here at the foot of the devil figure. We have two demon-ish beings on the sides. Um, Very interesting. So many figures in this one card. Yeah, one figure here. There's a figure here with a shrouded figure with a hand coming out. We have a figure here, another figure here, a figure here. So again, this deck really does call for time. It's not something you quick pull a card and say, and oh yeah, this is that, right? Here's the tower. We have two figures falling out of the tower. One of my favorite statues in Italy. And I forget the name of the guy, but I love this statue. We've also got, I'm not sure why we have this beast. What is the association for the tower? Is it, it's not Capricorn. Is it Mars? What are you? What are you? The zodiacal association for the tower is Tower of Babel. Material boundaries, burning towers, Babel Tower. How destroyed the top thing be direct result of the seeker's arrogance, humbling of their ego, the transition of the revelations. Okay, so I would really need to read this entire entry very slowly and maybe even highlight the part that tells us what the association is in the tower. I don't see it right off the bat. So that's one thing that might have been nice for the guidebook, to have that information either in bold, perhaps, if you didn't want to pull it out and make it part of the list at the bottom of the guidebook, saying that, oh, the astrological association is this for this card. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me just check the smaller guidebook, and yes, we don't get those bits of information highlighted either. So that would have been nice. Okay, just saying, that would have been nice. Here we go with the next card, which is what? This is this would be the star. And here we have what looks like a piece of art from Klimt, but maybe not. Yeah, we got what looks like it might be, well, it's a moth at the top. So we have this moon up here. This isn't the moon card, is it? No, this is the star. Yes, this is the star. Okay. So we have water down here at the bottom. We have the moth rising up into the sky. We've got what looks like a castle tower here at the background, perhaps moving away from the tower, perhaps. We have got peacock feathers down here at the back of the female figure. We see that her eye is replaced by a very Egyptian stylized eye. Here is the moon. Okay, so the moon. Got a Venus figure down here. The moon is often associated with the planet the moon in the Golden Dawn system, I believe. Here we have the rabbit from the Rabbit in the Moon. I don't know if that's something you know of. People see the rabbit in the moon here. Here's the coyote, reminding us of the dogs. Here's the Devil's Tower from, is it New Mexico? It's in the southwest United States. We've got another statue, perhaps of a very Venusian or Aphroditean figure. This clay figure here makes me think Gemini because of the two heads, but here we go. Lovely, lovely card. The art, the work on the card is beautiful. And, oh, here's a moon down here. Like I said, it will take, whoa, will take some deep study. Look at the eyes on this. Would be the sun, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyes. Interesting that we don't have a sixth one down here. We've got, this is from a very famous painting, right? This is from the Birth of Venus, I think, or maybe the Four Seasons. Anyways, I think it's from the birth of Venus or Aphrodite. Interesting. Yeah. The Sun card. There's so much, and I can't. Instead of a butterfly, I mean, instead of the moth from the star card, we've got a butterfly here. Moving closer into the daylight, I guess. And here we have the Judgment card. And on the Judgment card, we've got this figure, or one of these might be Mott. Oh, no, not Mott. Mott, we use the feather of Mott to weigh the heart of the deceased human in the Egyptian tradition. You know, you weigh the heart against the feather of Mott, and if the heart is much heavier than, or heavier than the feather, then the person does not pass on into the next realm. Interesting. Notice this figure is kind of a centaur figure, even though it wasn't originally. We've got another being here at the crown chakra of this being, which is also interesting. We've got an eye up in the sky. Not sure what this figure is, but the guidebook, I'm sure, is going to tell us. And this is the world card. Is there only one world card? Yes, there's only one world card. Interesting that there's this, what is it called? What kind of fish is that? It's a carp. Carp here. The female figure with a gold coin at the crown chakra. Do you notice the four corners are very different, right? It'd be interesting to see if they associate with the four evangelists, the four fixed signs, or not. This would be the spot for Taurus. This would be the spot for Leo. This would be the spot for Scorpio, and this would be the spot for Aquarius. But I'm not sure. Okay, moving on. Beautiful cards. Here is now the Ace of Wands. Very easy to see. This, yeah, one stick sticking up in front of a wide background. Very clearly the Ace of Wands, right? Two of Wands. So we'd have the two elements right here on the side. We've got what looks like the head of a pharaoh. The background looks like a volcano erupting, but we kind of get that sense of looking off into the distance, yeah, making plans, making, seeing the course, deciding on the course. And here we have for the Three of Wands, we see the three elements right there very easily. This figure kind of looks like he or she is giving a side eye, doesn't it? But we continue with an Egyptian theme. I wonder if the rest of if all of the suits will continue with the Egyptian theme, or perhaps only the wands will continue with the Egyptian theme. We'll have to see. Beautiful background. The Four of Wands. Yeah, we got the four here. The 1, 2, 3 at the bottom, one at the top. Often considered the homecoming card. We've got the castle in the distance. That's interesting. Or the celebration card, the milestone card. Maybe even the wedding card. These two could be coming for a wedding, perhaps. Doesn't look so Egyptian anymore, does it? Okay, so maybe that was just the first few cards, the first two cards. The Five of Wands. Competition. Could be an archery competition, I suppose. Let's just double check. 1, 2, 3. Oh? That's the Five of Wands. Just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the fifth? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at the six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see the fifth wand. Interesting. Okay. We'll have to look at the guidebook for that. But here's the six. Six of Wands. We think of success. It's the Smith-Waite deck. We've got the guy in the um, doing the triumphal march in a chariot with a laurel wreath on his head, and people going yay. So here we have the what could be a triumphal instead of march, just a figure overlooking a landscape. But this crown at the top gives us that idea of victory, success, I suppose. The Seven of Wands. Yeah, the person standing above everybody else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wands. Get them all there. 7 spears, but you know what I mean. Here's that one figure standing above, perhaps other figures who are below here. I often think of this as not other people below, but other aspects of self that this person is rising above or is holding his or her or their place in the midst of inner turmoil or inner conflict, if that makes sense. I can see that in this card as well. 8 of Wands, right? We got the 8 wands flying through the air, just very similar to the Smith-Waite deck. The 9 of Wands. Now we got, instead of the guy bandaged standing in front of a wall of 9 cards, we've got this female figure, bust, I think is what we call that, in back of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spears. A lot of water in this card, which I don't often think of for the 9 of Wands, but I don't think it disturbs the way I would read this card, but it would add something else, I suppose. The emotional content of the 9 of Wands would be more revealed here, perhaps. Moving on to the 10 of Wands. Do we have 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wands there, or 10 spears and arrows in front of a vast snowy wilderness. So here is the Page of Wands, or the Princess of Wands, right? She calls this person the princess. Female figure, Southeast Asian perhaps, face, maybe, more of an Eastern, maybe Grecian body. We got the one element here of a wand. Princess of Wands. And here's the Knight of Wands. We get that, we see the fire in this male-looking figure, don't we? Interesting, we got the head of the horse there for the knight. We got the wand element there. We got the fire. We got the passion. We got the expression of passion. The additional eyes are interesting as well. Here is the Queen of Wands. We got the cat. We don't have the sunflower, but we've got the cat. And we got the Queen's face. And we've got a lot of stuff. And here's the wand right there, an Egyptian-looking wand. And the King of Wands, a very pharaoh-looking figure. Wand right there. Do we have a salamander? I don't see a salamander. But we do see fire down here at the bottom. The artwork is beautiful. It's clearly the Ace of Cups. It just asks, like I said, for time to really look at it. And also the guidebook, I think, is necessary for these decks. Beautiful, the bird coming down. Yeah. Interesting crystal inside of the vessel. The Two of Cups, and I guess this is one vessel and this is the other. Looking a little bit like a pair of lovers, right? Got the moon in the background. Is the Two of Cups the moon in one of the signs? I wonder. I wonder. Here's the Three of Cups. We have the three very different looking figures. Here are the three cups here at the top. It's not difficult to see the elements in the smaller cards, at least not so far. We've got a vast field in front of what looks like a village in the background. Yeah, so these people aren't far from civilization. They have removed themselves. The Four of Cups. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 cups. Yeah. Now, instead of this cup floating out of the gaze of the person sitting under the tree, this fourth cup is right there in the hand. Interesting. Coming on to the Five of Cups, that disappointment card, right? Usually cups are spilled. Here we've got a cup that seems to be floating above and out of the perception of the figure. Interesting hand on the eye. Interesting mask on the figure as well. But we do have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 cups in front, one on top. Disappointment. Now this deck will ask for study. Here, 6 of cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. You notice the child there with the mother, that innocence, the naivete not in the sense of stupid, but in the sense of fresh and youthful. Yeah, interesting. The Seven of Cups. Now, usually this for many people is the one of illusions. I don't see illusions here, but do we have, instead of different stuff in the cups, like a cup with a dragon, a cup with a castle, a cup with jewels, there's one jewel inside of one vessel. The other vessels don't necessarily have stuff in them, but they are different they're very different vessels, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are, how many vessels are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing 6. I'm missing 1. There's probably one up here. Yeah. I think of the Seven of Cups card as the one of daydreaming and envisioning. Doing the visualization practices that are part of living intentionally, I believe. The Eight of Cups, right? Usually the guy walking away from the cups, disappointment, moving on. Don't really get that exact very clearly here, but there is perhaps that gesture of refusal in this figure here. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cups are down there. So this thing up here makes me think of a ninth vessel, but it is very different. I'm not really sure what to do with that. Okay, so here we are with the Nine of Cups, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This should be in the Nine of Cups. Yes, it is the Nine of Cups. So the cups are a little more difficult for me to see sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, there's another one. 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 cups there. Very four faces of Brahman kind of image, right? We see what looks like a castle or some kind of a structure here in the misty mountain. And this would be the Ten of Cups, which is joy, right? And instead of a family, we've got what looks like 2 old guys, yeah? But that's cool. And the rainbow, instead of a rainbow, we've got an arch of cups up above. So the Nine of Cups is usually the satisfaction card, right? And you can kind of get the sense of satisfaction from this. It doesn't have to be Middle Ages guy in his Middle Ages, a middle-aged guy from the Middle Ages with arms crossed in front of a table in the background with a whole bunch of goblets. Instead of that, we had that Brahmin figure. Here for the 10, instead of a family, we've got what looks like two very, very happy older men from perhaps, I couldn't tell you if they're from the East or not, but beautiful. And here we have the Princess of Cups. We got a bunch of cups on the head of this princess. Beautiful figure. And the Knight of Cups. We've got the horses here, which really point to the knight, looking a little bit like, reminds me a little bit of Apollo or Helios, but that would be more of a fire card image to me. I have to look at the book to see who this figure is. Doesn't look like Poseidon to me. Here we have the Queen of Cups. Now we've got a crown on her. She's holding a cup. We've got this huge horn cup at her side. We've got a butterfly there. Another butterfly down there at the bottom. Very interesting artwork. Very interesting choices. And well, okay, this guy kind of looks like Neptune. Neptune being the King of Cups. Makes me think of Neptune, even though we don't see the trident there. Here's the cup above. Okay. And the Ace of Swords. Ace, cloud, smoke in the background, giving us the idea of air. The Two of Swords. Yeah. Instead of being a woman with her eyes covered by a blindfold, we've got a Cyclops woman here. But she is a bit bound, and she has the two swords on the sides. So we get the idea of balance and ideas, balanced thoughts, making decisions. Three of Swords, usually piercing a heart. Here we have piercing the side, but that's cool. Notice that she's holding one of the swords. So this is not entirely victimhood, right? Yeah. This lady be stabbing herself. Interesting hair. Kind of makes me think of Medusa a little bit, but not entirely. Do you see why I might think of Medusa? It is hair, but this hair kind of is a little serpentine in quality to me. The Four of Swords, right? The meditation card. Now we've got an angel asleep. 1, 2, 3 swords here. The fourth sword is usually down at the bottom. We do have a figure lying on what looks like a tomb here. Very similar to Pamela Coleman Smith's conception. So I suppose the fourth sword is here. I just don't see it clearly. Okay, the Five of Swords. Interesting. Notice how this one sword kind of, well, it doesn't exactly turn into his nose, and his nose doesn't exactly turn into the sword, but they are very closely associated. One eye visible, one eye has been basically erased, right? The Six of Swords. 6 of them. Instead of them being in a boat moving away into the distance, we've got 6 swords pointing into the water. That could be the fairy person, I guess, the fairy man, fairy woman, fairy being. And moving on. I'm not sure. Like I said, requires work of the mind. Here we have the Seven of Swords. Figure is holding one of the swords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one there at the bottom, 7, and is also standing on a sword. Interesting. Okay, so here we have the 8 of Swords. Usually the figure is trapped in the, feels trapped in the center of a circle of swords. Here we have this figure here. You could see it being trapped as in the center of swords. Let's see how many swords, because it looks like there's a sword right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe that's not a sword. Interesting, we've got these 2 goats here. I wonder what that means. Okay, here we have the 9 of Swords. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the imagery. Oh, look, there's Guernica, the artwork from Guernica there at the top. which is artwork by Pablo Picasso about the Spanish Revolutionary War, the Spanish Revolution. Um, Interesting. This looks like maybe it's not Saturn. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure who that is. We'd have to look at the guidebook. Love the light in the eyes in this figure. So yeah, this is the Nine of Swords, which is usually the nightmare card. Maybe this figure here is having these nightmares, perhaps. Ten of Swords, usually the figure lying on the ground with the knives going to his or their back. We have these knives going to what looks like her side. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that look like an Asian or South Asian god statue there? I'm not sure. Not sure. Need to look at that closely. And so that would mean that this is the Princess of Swords. Here's the sword. Here's the princess. Finger over her lips, looking like she's saying, "Shh, be very, very quiet." We've got the wing of what might be an owl. We've got another bird, two birds at the top, reminding us that this is an air card, I guess. And is this actually the Princess of Swords? Yes, it is. Can you see that? Princess of Swords. So the court cards, the minor cards, they're all printed on the back of the new deck. Let me go on to the Knight of Swords. Where is this knight? There's the horse. That's a horse. We got the sword up there. The knight is definitely thinking deeply. Looks like a Greek mask in gold at the top. Not sure what that does for us, but it could do something for us. Here we have the Queen of Swords. One of my favorite cards probably my favorite court card is the Queen of Swords. Love her. I love her in this deck as well. I mean, I love her as the tarot card in general, but I also love her in this deck. Look at that. It must be a brooch. I'm sure it's not a tattoo, but the necklace here. Third eye. We got a bird flying in the air. Lovely card. Here we go with the King of Swords. We got a sword, got a crown on him, got a wing here reminding us that this is the air. Looks like a bird at the top. And here we have what would be the pentacles. What does she call them? Is it pentacles or discs? Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, one pentacle, one disc right there at the center. It looks like a serving tray. Here we have two discs in balance around this one central figure. So we can still get that idea of the things being balanced, right? Not exactly dancing like the figure in this card drawn by Pamela Coleman Smith, but still, we got that balance idea, balancing resources. Three of Pentacles. You've got three coins up there in the air. We've got three very different looking people coming perhaps to work together on this cathedral. Though these are Egyptian people, and this cathedral is definitely post-Egyptian pharaoh eras, but still. We have the Four of Coins, the miser, the greedy one, looking a little bit like the Minotaur to me. But maybe we could think of that related to Minos. Whereas I think Midas is also from Minos. Okay, I'm wrapping my head around this too hard. So we got the 4 coins up there. And it looks like an aqueduct from the Roman period, maybe. And here we have the 6 of coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be the 6. This is the 5. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. 5 comes after 4, not 6. So yes, this is the 5 of Pentacles, the one, the people out in the snow, right? Interesting. I wonder what meaning this card leans into. Let me look at the guidebook just briefly. For the suit of Pentacles, the 5 of Pentacles is hardship, illness, struggle, adversity. Yep, that's Rider-Waite Smith. in this Thoth system, that would be worry. And actually, this kind of looks more like the worry card than the people out in the cold card to me, but you know. Okay, moving on to the six. Here we have the idea of giving alms, perhaps. One, two, three, four, five, six coins are there. We've got two, perhaps less rich people there on the sides. We've got a hand in the center with a coin in the center, perhaps ready to give alms, perhaps outside of what looks like it might be a holy place, maybe, maybe not. Um, yeah, let's move on to the seven of coins, which is the patience card. Yeah, keep doing the work. Don't harvest yet. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven coins right there in the. And here we have the idea of perhaps a shepherd. We got lambs or sheep there and roaming the hills, feeding, I suppose, raising sheep, raising things. Agriculture is pointed towards in that image, I guess. The eight of coins. Now, the eight of coins is what is that? Let me think of the eight of coins. What is the image of the eight of pentacles? It is the goodness. The image isn't coming to my brain right now. The eight of coins, eight of pentacles. The nine is the woman within her garden. The eight is the card of nine, eight. Oh yeah, the worker, the yeah, um, the guy sitting on his bench making pentacles, right? Don't quite get that here. Interesting. We've got. I'm not sure what that information on this wheel is, but Okay, this is going to take looking at the guidebook. Okay, so let's see. The nine. So we've got the woman, we've got the idea she's got a pet beast instead of a pet bird. But yeah, she's a wealthy woman, comfortable in her surroundings, it looks like. A lot of coins around her. Um, don't quite get the sense of her being in her garden, but still we've got the sense of comfort. Um, Interesting. I wonder what that is down there. Very interesting. And now I wish that the minor arcana had more information about the cards. Okay, here we have the ten of coins, which is usually legacy, right? Family. We've got a citadel back there. Although this one and this prominent one looks like it's been bombed or something. It's not a complete building anymore. But still, we've got the idea of a city in the background. Coin at the center of the head. It would have been cool if these coins had been laid out in the shape of a tree of life, but that's kind of me. Um, Anyways, moving on to the Princess of Coins. We've got the head here. We got the coin there at the center. Um, hmm, Very interesting. It looks like a tree is growing out of her head. Yeah. For the Smith-Waite system, study, exploring resources, exploring what's around, learning about the real world, right? Interesting. We got this ram, or yeah, it looks like a ram head down there at the bottom. Hmm. And here we have the knight. Do we have a horse for the knight? We do have a horse head up there for the Knight of Pentacles, the slow moving, duty, routines, responsibility knight. And here we have what looks like a king and queen below him, maybe, but I might be wrong. Notice the upside down sheep above the head of the knight. Why? I don't know. I really don't know. And here we are with the Queen of Pentacles, right? The nurturer, the one who is ready to take care of people and has the resources to do so and is happy and comfortable with what she has and is able to make do with what she has and is able to do stuff with what she has. Beautiful card. Interesting, we've got the two-headed beast up at the top. Not sure what beast that is. And then the King of Pentacles, yeah? The one who is in charge of his, her, their world. Beautiful cards. Absolutely beautiful cards. Difficult cards to look at. I mean, not in the sense that, oh, I don't want to look at that, but it takes patience, I think, and it takes knowledge to understand what it is we're looking at when we look at these cards. I'm not really sure that I'm up to the task, but we shall see. So now what am I going to do? Let me do this. I'm going to pick one of the decks, and I will pick the deck that has the titles on the back because I don't know the cards well enough, and I'm afraid I might not be able to tell. So let me pull out my second version of the Ritual Tarot, and let me show you what it's like to shuffle. Now the camera is pretty close down here, and so shuffling on camera is going to be a little bit difficult. So let me show. I've got a new system, a new method of shuffling, of my overhand shuffling, cutting the cards and shuffling. And these cards are really, really slippy. These cards are very, very slippery. So I might end up tossing the cards all over the room as I try to overhand shuffle them, but let's see how it goes. So I'll do a three card pull. Overhand. Here we go. Overhand, really up close, and wow, those are very, very slow, slippery cards. Now, just saying, I'm not the best overhand shuffler in the world. For those of you who are very comfortable shuffling glossy, slippery cards overhand, this is a perfect deck for you. For me, let's see how it riffle shuffles, because that's my favorite thing in the world, to riffle shuffle. Yes, I know to many of you, that is anathema. So, I have fairly strong hands, and I needed to use some strength to shuffle these cards. It also helps if you have larger, whoa, see, now these cards just want to slip all over the place. So, but that's good for those of us who like to fan cards. I don't fan cards. If you like to fan cards, that will be of great benefit, I'm sure. They don't clump together at all. But they do move around much more than I like. So, the new deck, the second version, the titled deck, the core is strong, and it takes some strength to riffle shuffle it. Also, the card size is a little big, so if you have smaller hands, it might be difficult to riffle shuffle the way I did. Let me see if I can do a corner or side riffle shuffle with this card stock. Now I didn't compare this to other tarot sizes, did I? Let me pull out, well, first let me see if I can riffle shuffle from the side. Okay, yeah, it's possible to riffle shuffle from the side, although I didn't do a great job of it. Let me try that once more. Let me try that once more. I was able to do it, but then I lost it. I lost the interlaced. Okay, so wonderful. You just have to remember to push them together immediately so that you don't lose the shuffle. And so now that works okay. Riffle shuffling from the corner, if you got smaller hands that are strong, it's very doable. It's very doable. Okay. So let's see. Do a couple more. If you want to skip ahead to the pull, feel very free to do that. That's not a problem. Let's see. Okay, so I'm getting used to overhand shuffling this very, very slippery cardstock, but I need to do it slowly, you see, or else they will flip and fly and turn on me. Okay, so just a couple more riffles and maybe one more overhand. So yeah, it's not bad, but really it does take a little bit of strength. And to riffle shuffle the way I like to, it helps if you've got bigger hands. One more overhand shuffle. Let's see. Here we go. And I'll do a 3-card pull. So we're probably going to get a bunch of the same suit, but we'll see. Let's see what would we benefit from giving our attention to today? What would we benefit from giving our attention to today? Let's see what we get. And let's see if I can name the cards just by looking at them. Cut the card deck, pull. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I'm really going to need to change this setup when I want to do larger spreads. Okay, so here we go. Can I name them? What I think I am seeing here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of wands. We've got the 3 of wands. And then this looks like the 4 of cups, right? Let me double check. So here we go. We have the 9 of wands right there. We've got the 4 of wands. I'm sorry, the 3 of wands. It does say 3, right? Yeah, the 3 of wands. And then we do have the 4 of cups. Okay, so let's see. The 3 of wands, the 4 of cups, the words are actually in the same place. Where is it? The 9 of wands is over here. 4 of wands is listed there. For the 3 of wands is listed there. 3 of wands, 4 of cups, 9 of wands. So really, you don't know where to look when you're shuffling the deck, even if you wanted to. So what does this tell me? Well, what do I see? What do I see these things together? I see a split between these two. Now, we've got a lot of water here. We've got a water card here. Remember I said how this river here might play into the reading? So this wands card having all of this water, which is elementally ill-dignified, just saying, makes me think of this 4 of cups card, which is also a water card as well, right? With this in the center, with the 3 of wands in the center, giving side eye towards this. They have the line of sight between these two cards. This figure really is looking at here, and this figure looks like it's giving a little bit of shade to this one. So I'm thinking that this figure here is emerging from these cards as a background. I mean, reading not as like, let's see, what, past, present, future, not reading as energy, obstacle, or challenge advice, but reading these cards just in the flow of 3 cards in the pull and looking at where is the main message. I think the main message here is the 3 of wands, where we get which is what? Taking first steps, moving ahead with the plan. But what this might be telling us is that this might not be the time to be doing that, because if we do move ahead with the plan and give the side eye, we cast shade on our current recognized or unrecognized feelings of having been through the ringer, of having been beaten up but still standing, if we don't fully acknowledge what we've been through, and we say, nope, I'm not going to recognize that, I'm not going to give that any attention, and we go ahead and plan, we're probably going to move into a feeling, into disappointment, into not results that are unsatisfying. Because we haven't done the work of fully accepting what we are moving out of. Does that make sense? So what I think this grouping of cards is saying is that before we move ahead, we got to deal with what this is. And maybe I am reading this as past, present, future, yeah, without really realizing it. So instead of moving ahead with our plans right now, we want to take care of ourselves and recognize what we've been through, and maybe learn the lessons, maybe learn what the emotional energy that is flowing through us now, that has been challenging, and yet we've survived. And we want to acknowledge ourselves as the survivors and fully embody that, and from that place we'll be ready to move forward with what we really want to do, what will really be beneficial for us, and we will be able to not move into that sense of ennui, of dissatisfaction, right? So friends, if that makes sense, tell me in the comments below. If it does not make sense, let me know in the comments below. I would really love to hear from you. I have no idea what the sound quality of this is going to be. I have no idea what it's going to look like when it turns into a video. This really is my first run, and I'm going to put it up on YouTube one way or the other. Whether the sound quality is great or crap, whether it looks great or not, I'm going to put it up because, yeah, that's who I am. And friends, thank you. Thank you very much for those of you who have hit the thumbs up button. You are of great service for me and for everybody, because the more of those that we have, the more these videos will be placed in front of people who might also be interested in watching the content on this channel. Thank you for those of you who have subscribed, because that helps the channel as well. And hitting the alarm bell helps you, so you get notifications of when I upload videos. And if you want a reading from me, my email address is in the comments below. thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, we'll get you a reading. If you want a reading with this deck, I might even be able to try and stretch myself into that. So there we are. Thank you, friends. Thank you for joining me on this in-depth look at these two decks, which are really one deck with different backs. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.